I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is Spitler Knoll Overlook. Mile marker 48. There it is, my little red car. And you can park at the Overlook, but I decided to park here at this little parking area here, Rock Spring Cabin parking area, which is right next to the Overlook. And I'm going to hike a stretch of the AT from here south down that way down towards Fisher's Gap and back. It's a section that I haven't hiked before. The elevation here is 3285. Tenth of a mile into my hike. Elevation is 3310, and that's where I came from, that Blue Blaze Trail. It goes back to the parking area and the Overlook. And here's the intersection with the AT. And so we're going to make a left turn here and head south on the Appalachian Trail, heading down towards Fisher's Gap. Just thought I'd point this out. I don't know if this is going to show up in the video, but I'm walking past an area here with a lot of ferns. And they're starting to die out already for the winter, for this winter. It's August the 2nd, and it's 59 degrees up here right now. It's about 9:45 in the morning. But these ferns, they're normally a real dark green color. Now they're starting to get a light green, and then they'll kind of get a golden brown color. And then, like those right there, they finally just die out, and then they're done for the season. So it's getting cold enough up here at night that things are starting to turn. This is 3,240 feet. .1 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3,030, and this is the Appalachian Trail is right back there where that big rock is. I just stepped off the trail because I saw this little overlook here looking to the west. I believe that peak over there is Black Rock. I'm maybe 2/10 of a mile north of Franklin Cliffs Overlook, but I'm way below the actual overlook. I think when I go back, I may go back by Skyline Drive. That'll take me past a couple overlooks like I did last hike. It's a nice little overlook here. 1.6 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3,040. I'm at Fisher's Gap. The Appalachian Trail dumps out onto this road here that I'm standing on, and then the AT continues on up that way to the south. Now, I put out another video years ago on this this road. Nowadays, the Park Service calls this the Red Gate Fire Road. It goes down the west side of the mountain down into the Shenandoah Valley. This is a very historic road. During the Civil War times, this was called the Gordonsville Turnpike. So, starts down there in the valley and comes up the west side of the mountain here, goes up to the gap up there, which is, I'll show you where that is, and then down the other side of the mountain. On the other side, they call it the Rose River Fire Road now. So let's go up and see what the gap looks like, and then I think I'm going to head back along Skyline Drive so I can catch a couple of the overlooks. Okay, I'm up on Skyline Drive now. There's where I came from, that road. There's the maintenance people. And we'll go over here to Fisher's Gap Overlook and get a couple of shots. Here's Skyline Drive. And then I'm going to head back this way towards my car to the north. This is the Franklin Cliffs Overlook. That's looking to the west. I'm still at Franklin Cliffs. I'm looking back towards the parking lot. Maybe you can see the glitter off the windshields over there. At the north end of the overlook, there's a little gravel trail. Follow it to the north and it'll bring you out up to this. Let me back up a little. It'll bring you up to this really nice, kind of, you know, more secluded overlook. So it's not even 1/10 of a mile. I didn't know this was even here. I'll have to look and see if it's even noted on the maps when I get home. But anyway, here's a 180-degree look from up here. Okay, and then the actual overlook with the parking area is back that way to the south. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Big Meadows, 1994, and I hiked a stretch of the AT from Spitler Knoll Overlook south to Fisher's Gap. This is Skyline Drive, and I parked right, well, this is Spitler Knoll Overlook right there. Actually, I parked on the north side of Skyline right here. There's a separate little parking area for the Rock Spring Cabin. So you can park here where my pencil is, or you can park right here on at the Overlook. There's a little short connector trail that then takes you out to the AT, and then I hiked south along the Appalachian Trail like this. When I got down to about here, I saw a couple of rock outcroppings where I could step out. This is just below the Franklin Cliffs overlook. So I stepped out here and got a few shots, and then continued on down to Fisher's Gap right here. Now, one thing that I point out in the video is I walked down here to the gate, and this is what they now call the Red Gate Fire Road. It goes down the west side of the mountain, real twisty-turny like this, and down into the valley on the west side. The same road crosses the gap here and then goes down the east side. Now on the east side they call this the Rose River Fire Road, and on the west side they call the same road the Red Gate Road. Back in Civil War times, this road was actually called the Gordonsville Turnpike. And it was used, Stonewall Jackson used this road during the Civil War to move his army across the mountain. Anyway, when I got down here to Fisher's Gap, then I got some shots here from this overlook, and then I walked back on Skyline Drive, stopped at Franklin Cliff Overlook, and then continued on up to Spitler Knoll Overlook and got some shots here and back to my car. Fairly easy hike. It was 3.5 miles and with a total ascent of only 503 feet, so it was a relatively flat hike. It's kind of interesting here along and through here though, because the mountain is really steep here. You'll notice that when you're hiking it, these contour lines are real close together, and each one of these contour lines is a 40-foot drop. And that was the hike for today.